So I remember it was about 2 years ago now, actually 3 years ago. It was my first time out of the country. And it was the beginning of a 3-country trek to Nepal, Malaysia, and Singapore to work with the Nepalese people. And I'd never been out of the country before, and we land in Nepal. It's about 10 o'clock at night, and we're driving through these streets, and it's hard to see because there's not street lights, but you can see in the headlights of the taxi just the poverty and the reality that we were about to face when the sun came up the next morning. And you could see the dogs running around and see the houses that were just poverty-stricken and some people in the streets. And as we kind of went through in that week, you know, I had heard so many statistics and so many just reports about the people groups that are in these countries. You see a lot of these statistics on paper, but you don't really see the reality in person. We drove throughout the country, and as we're driving through, you see mountains in the foothills of the Himalayas, and you see villages at the top of these mountains, and you start to bring definition to the reality of unreached and why these people groups are unreached. And we stayed with one family for several days during this trip, and I remember seeing the children and knowing the reality that many of these children face in the country, and seeing people all around in the villages who had never heard the gospel before. And as we left several days later, after about a week in the country, my heart was captivated. My heart was absolutely captivated by the reality that many of the people that I had seen on the mountains and in person had never heard the name Jesus Christ before. And as I flew away to go to my next point in Malaysia, I knew that God was calling us to this point. And that was when my heart was captivated, when I committed my life to this mission.